Can we? We will reconvene for the afternoon session. I think we're on agenda item number 13. Mr. Escamilla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we're on item number 13 on our regular agenda, our last item for the day, regular item. We have our interim planning director, Byron Turner, here. He's going to be discussing with your board the amendment of Chapter 19.21 of the San Benito County Code to add Measure J, implementing ordinance in the event Measure J. Basically regulating petroleum operations within San Benito County, is passed by the voters, make sequel findings, and adopt proposed ordinance. Byron?
Thank you. Yes, on October 7th, this item came before you. It's the implementation ordinance should Measure J pass by the voters in November. We'd like to have it in place at that time. It was discussed, and the board waived the reading and continued the item to today for adoption. So if you have any questions, I'm here, and Barbara can answer questions as well. But with that, it's recommended that the board make the findings set forth in Attachment A for approval, including that adoption of the proposed ordinance is statutorily exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15061B3 of the CEQA guidelines, and make the motion to adopt the ordinance, an ordinance amending Chapter 19.21 Oil and Gas Wells of Title 19 Land Use and Environmental Regulations of the San Benito County Code to implement new procedures regarding determinations of exemption from Measure J, the initiative regarding petroleum operations within San Benito County, a measure to be voted upon at the November 4th, 2014 election. We're available for questions.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from members of the public?
This is the last lick I get in before the election, right?
That's it?
No, well, election day itself.
Oh, yeah, I could come in here in the morning and I'll go to the afternoon. Thank you.
Just for the record, the mics.
But I usually
mics
come
are
in with my little
scheduled
sticker.
for repairs that day.
Marty Richmond from Hollister, and I will maintain the position I did last time, which is I support this. I oppose Measure J. I think it's the risks to the county for being sued are enormous. Well, they're 50-50. 50-50 is enormous when there's a lot of money involved, possibly. But I want all the protection I can get because I'm not a fool, okay? So I do support this ordinance as one way to protect myself for a nickel while I'm risking billions of dollars or whatever it is. And, you know, the U.S. Constitution, Fifth Amendment is clear. If you take somebody's property and you are the government, you have to pay them a fair price. There's no arguing about that. What you get argued about is, are you taking it and is it a fair price? Okay. And that's where the lawyers make all their money for years and years. They go at it. I don't know if there will be any takings under the portion of Measure J that excludes so many ways of taking oil out of the ground, but I'm guaranteed there's going to be some takings under the portion of Measure J that changes the zoning and says you can't take anything out of the ground anyhow. Someone wrote me a letter and says, well, why would that be? We don't pay when we say there's a Clean Air Act or there's a Clean Water Act. Well, what they don't realize, and I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that if you pass a general law that applies to everybody, it's not a taking. But if you pass a law that only applies, for instance, to one sector, that is typically a taking. Whether or not it meets the other criteria, I don't know. But again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not giving legal advice. But I just want the public to know that that portion means we will be buying the mineral rights for whatever they're worth in those areas where somebody owns them, someone else owns them. Because we've told them you can't take it out of the ground anyhow, no matter what you do. So I support it because it's a safety net, and I'd rather have some safety net than no safety net. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else like to address the board on this item? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we make the findings set forth in attachment A for approval. And do I have to recite the title of the ordinance since it was read in? Okay. So let's see here. So I will move that that this board move staff recommendation to adopt ordinance number 930. The initiative, let's see here, sorry. San Diego County Code to implement new procedures regarding the determinations of exemption from Measure J, the initiative regarding petroleum operations within San Diego County, measure to be voted on November 4th, 2014 election.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No, I'm staying to the
Pass.
form.
Passes 4-1. With that, I think we are ready to adjourn into closed session.
We're going to be meeting in closed session, conference with labor negotiators. Allison Hayek, Ray Espinoza, Joe Paul Gonzalez, Melinda Casillas, and Georgia Cochran are the agency negotiators. The employee organizations are Institutions Association, Law Enforcement Management, Management Employees Group, SEIU Local 521, SEIU United Long-Term Care Workers Local 6434, and Deputy Sheriff's Association. The authority is the Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with legal counsel for anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, subdivision D2, and the number of cases is 1, and public employee performance evaluation for the county administrative officer under California Government Code 54957.
Okay. Would anyone from the public like to address the board on the closed session items before we adjourn into closed session? Seeing none, we will go to closed session.
Which one do you want to do first?